Hey guys, here come my puppy. Hi baby. Good morning. So this morning I've been working on the bus. I got it idling a little better, so I think I'm actually going to drive it to work today. Anyway, I filmed this video a couple times, and every time something keeps happening. The first time I filmed it 3 times in one night because the camera kept stopping and I didn't know. But anyway, so I'm not a big reader. I can learn faster audibly. So if I prefer to learn by listening. I think it's called auditory learning, but anyway, I learn best. I feel like I retain the most information at the quickest speed audibly. I'm one of those weird people that think that the internet won't be around one day, and I don't know if it'll be for 3 hours or for 3 days or for 3 years, but I just have a sneaking suspicion that one day it's going to come to a halt, and a lot of people are going to be very lost, myself included. But anyway, even though I learn best auditory or audibly, I like to collect resources for books and stuff like that. That way, if that day ever comes, then I could be somewhat prepared. So anytime I see a book, I do a lot of resale shopping and stuff like that. Anytime I see a book that's any kind of resourceful, I'll pick it up if it's affordable. A good example of what I mean is I took the bus to Texas for the first time a little while back, and about 50 miles in, the points on the distributor kind of went out. And the thing is that this point system that was in these older vehicles is measured by fractions of an inch. I mean thousandths of an inch. So you have to use little dial gauges and stuff, feeler gauges, to set that depth. Anyway, I didn't know what that depth was. I use mostly electronic stuff. Even though I drive old, I have electronic distributors, and I didn't know what the number was. I broke down in the mountains. I had my dog with me, and it was pouring rain, and we walked around for 5 miles looking for 1 bar of cell phone service with my phone in the air. And after hours and hours of looking, we had 0 cell phone service, and I actually meant to take my book with me, and I left it on the counter. But if I would have had my resource with me, I would have been available to that information, even though I didn't have the internet. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something so sinister. Just a dead cell phone can keep you from accessing the internet, you know. For the record, I do think it'll be something more sinister. Alright, let's go check out these books. Alright guys, so I'm just going to scroll through these and show you a little bit about them. This book I picked up at a resale shop, Complete Do-It-Yourself Manual. It's got everything in from how to use tools to repairing or building pretty much anything that you could possibly think of. Walls and ceilings, stairs, floors, wood sash windows, storm windows, doors, slate shingles, overhead garage doors, home plumbing systems, hot water heaters, painting doors and windows, working with wood. I mean, it's got everything, so that's a great resource. This book was actually given to me by my neighbor who's no longer with us. This book is mostly about Oklahoma because my mountain range runs from here to Oklahoma, but it's got fishing and hunting information in here. It's got just different geographical areas to visit. It's got even some topography maps and stuff like that. Like I said, it's mostly about Oklahoma, but we're talking 40-50 miles away. Some of it does come into Arkansas though. This book was given to me by a subscriber. He was sending me a jersey, actually a Texas Rangers baseball jersey that he had, and I said, hey man, I'd like to look into your country a little bit, so send me something.
I actually confused it with Ireland one day. I hope he wasn't too offended, but I'm just not very educated when it comes to other countries around the world. And I did know that it was Scotland. I just misspoke. But this book I used to keep right by my door, and sometimes I would just flip through it and read a little bit here and there. There's a lot of really good photography in this book, and I love photography and I love old stuff. And some of these older countries, man, they really destroy any kind of dating that we have here in the United States. We're dealing with like 250 years, and some of these countries are way longer. Canada's Wilderness Lands. It's a book about Canada. Great photography in this book also. I do want to visit Canada one day, hopefully on a hunting trip, but yeah, so pretty cool book. Great photography in that book too. This book is probably my most used book. It's called The Doctor's Book of Home Remedies. Thousands of tips and techniques anyone can use to heal everyday health problems. Anytime that I come down with any kind of ailment, or anybody else I know does, I will go to this book first and see what it says. To be honest, some of the stuff is a little outdated, but for the most part, this is a really good resource to have. While we're on that topic, Food, Your Miracle Medicine, How Food Can Prevent and Cure Over 100 Symptoms and Problems. This is a really good book. It just has different, it's not recipes, it's just kind of what kind of foods to control, you know, blood pressure, how to eat to avoid heart trouble, anti-cholesterol diet, strokes, anti-constipation, heartburn, stay awake, high alert, brain foods, antidote for brain cancers, triggers and cures for headaches, foods that boost immunity, starvation diet. So really good resource. Here's another one. My mom bought me this book when I moved out here because she was worried sick about me, but it's actually a really good book, and I read through it every once in a while. It's got a whole bunch of information on shelters, building fires, filtering water, electricity, veggies, backyard critters, how to milk, how to feed, hunting and fishing. Tons of great resources, great photos, great drawings, like kind of cartoonish like drawings. Here, I'll show you. So that's a pretty cool book. Food processor cookbook. I didn't actually look through this. I thought that it was gonna be like canning, a canning book. I just kind of picked it up. It was 50 cents, I remember, and it's actually like it's recipes with some of your stored food. So I guess it wasn't a total lose, but this wasn't really what I was looking for. So anyway. Bacon Nation, 125 irresistible recipes. I've actually never made any recipes out of this book, but there's tons of information on how to cook bacon and different recipes to cook with bacon. So maybe one day I will make some recipes out of that book. But I think I picked it up for like $1. It was too cheap too. Dad's Own Cookbook by Bob Sloan. Everything your mother never taught you. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Again, it's like cartoony, like drawings, bunch of recipes. Pretty good book. Alright, Southern Living Cookbook. This is a meats book. This is actually a super good resource, mostly for fish. I'm really good at cooking red meat, but fish is a little hard to cook sometimes. There's a lot of different types of fish, and you wouldn't imagine how much it differs from fish to fish. Soups and stews, chicken salads, stuffings and sauces, beef roast, short ribs, beef steak in cubes, ground beef, meatballs, pork chops, pork, chicken, barbecue chicken, oven fried chicken, chicken pies, chicken with rice, chicken with vegetables, fish, salmon loaves, salmon, shad, tuna, whitefish, crab, shellfish, oysters, shrimp, shellfish combination, lamb, corned beef, frankfurters. Don't even know what that is, but y'all get the idea. Alright, this is New York Times Heritage Cookbook. I probably picked it up for like $0.25 or $1 or something. Just got a whole bunch of different recipes in there. So, I don't really cook a lot much anymore, to be honest. Alright, lawns and ground covers. This is a great resource. Picked it up for 25 cents. Sod for instant lawns. This does everything from like manicuring and all the way to growing food. So understanding lawn fertilizers, pests, lawn disease, drought tolerance grasses, the cool season grasses, eastern climate zones. So that's a really good resource. Luckily for me, I have a lot of trees. I don't get a whole lot of sun, and I got a lot of leaf cover, so my ground cover is pretty much taken care of by the leaves. This is a 2004 Time Almanac. I think I paid like $1 for it too. There's tons and tons of information in this book about the United States. Let's see. Health and nutrition, computers and the internet, current events, deaths, world stats, weights and measurements, weather and climate, U.S. statistics, U.S. states, cities, tax information. Oh, they included tax information, you bet. Anyway, it was too cheap to turn down. Alright, now here we're going to get into car stuff for a little while. This is the book that I actually meant to take to Texas when I broke down. This would have saved me, but I forgot it on the counter. Anyway, it's called How to Keep Your Volkswagen Alive, a manual of step-by-step procedures for the complete idiot. And this is a really, really good book. A lot of people call this the Volkswagen Bible. It's got all the information you could possibly need. It's very well written. It's comically written. There's a lot of funny drawings and pictures in there. It's as good of a car manual as you could ever expect, with a little bit of a twist on it because of the comedy. So, a great book. I haven't read enough of it yet. I've still got a lot to learn about Volkswagens, but a great resource, and that was given to me by the couple that gave me the Volkswagen. So this book is probably one of my best books. This is a Chilton's Auto Repair Manual, 1980. This is 1973 through 1980 American cars. So this has every American car in it. How to adjust the brakes, fuel, I mean the whole 9 yards, top to bottom, every vehicle every car, American car from 73 to 80. So mostly I just deal with Chevrolets, but the great thing about it is if I ever need to deal with a vehicle that's not a Chevrolet, I have the resource right here in my hands that I can turn to. And I don't know if I said it already, but this was sent to me by a subscriber, and like I said, it's probably my favorite book that I have. So I have another one that competes with that was also sent to me by a subscriber, and it's called Diagnosis and Repair of GM Cars and Trucks, 1970 through 1983. Now this one's a little more specific to the stuff that I actually work on, so this is probably a better resource for me, but I would imagine needing this one more working on other people's vehicles or older vehicles that I don't know, because I know a lot about most of the Chevrolets. So this is every GM car and truck from 1970 through 1983. Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, Pontiac cars, lights, and trucks. So if anybody's interested, that is Chilton part number 7646. So awesome book. I think my mom gave me this book, and it's an ASC certification. It's like a mechanic certification type thing. This is one of their study books. It's actually the test book, so a study guide book. But it's got everything from brake systems and most of the stuff that I know. But some of the newer brakes, systems are getting kind of intricate. So I don't really work on them much, but if I ever need to, I have a resource I can turn back to on that. I'm sure she got that pretty cheap. This is actually a book for the Dodge Dakota. It was sent to me by a subscriber for Jeff's truck, and Jeff had actually already bought one. So since I was mechanicking on it, she told me to keep it for myself, which I did. I actually used it quite a few times because I was working on Jeff's truck for him, and I don't know much about Dodges, so this was a great resource. And I meant to pass it on to the people that bought Jeff's truck, but I'm gonna make sure they get it anyway. Alright, let's see. This is the book on my Camaro. I've had this book for about 9 years because I've had the car for 9 years. This is Camaro's 1967 through 81. My car's a 77. You can see I have been through hell and back with this book. Half of the pages are missing. But yeah, this thing has kept my car running for a very long time. Coming out. Alright, this is conversational Japanese. I think I paid 50 cents for this book. I can't even think of a time that I've ever needed to speak Japanese. But I guess if the day ever comes, this book will probably be at my house and not with me. But yeah, I have a resource for Japanese. Spanish vocabulary. This conversational Japanese book is actually super well written. It's very detailed book. This Spanish vocabulary book is a little more simple. You know, basic stuff, bathroom, mom, dad. You know, but either way, still good information. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I'm definitely not fluent, even though I do want to be, so maybe one day I'll get after it. This book is called On the Seventh Day God Created the Chevrolet. It's probably somewhat true, but I actually haven't read it. I just picked it up because it was cheap, and I figured it'd be a good read one day. It's by Sylvia Wilkinson. If I ever read it, I will let y'all know. This will probably come to as a shock to some of you guys, but I'm not actually a fan of the Corvette. I don't know why. I know as a kid I knew it was way out of my price range, but I guess as an adult I've realized that there's a lot of things about it I don't like. I don't really like all the fiberglass. They went to throttle body injection. Dang dog killed my light. They moved away from carburetors and went to throttle bodies really early. Still a very beautiful car. I can appreciate what it is, just not really my favorite. Anyway, my sister was about to give away this book for like $1 in a garage sale, and I found it. It's got really good photography, beautiful, beautiful cars, and tons of information about Corvettes from the early days of Corvettes all the way through. So there's actually a kid that's a fan of Corvettes in town, and he built a beautiful car, and I'm going to take this book to him. Hopefully he'll appreciate it. Anyway. Alright, last but not least, this is my newest book. A good friend gave it to me. It is a 2021 Road Atlas and National Park Guide for the United States. I wish that I could flip through all this in this video, but it's already getting long. I will make a separate video specifically about this book, but it's a traditional style road atlas, which you need for lack of internet, lack of GPS. But it also has all the national parks in the United States and park highlights, best times to go there, lodging, museums. Awesome, awesome, awesome book. So happy to have that. Thank you guys for watching. Listen to me ramble. Hopefully it's not too cut up because the camera kept dying, but anyway, I need to get these books back on the shelf and off my table, so I had to get the video done. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.